All right, looking on page 5, we are going over what rate of change means. So that's pretty much everything we did on page 3, so all of this stuff. Okay, so you need to explain what rate of change means. You should know that this is slope. You can talk about the formula, how to find it from a table, how to find it from a graph or an equation. So there's a lot that you can put here, but I want at least 2 sentences explaining what rate of change could be. 40, the difference between zero slope and undefined. So you need to think about which one's y equals, which one's x equals, which one's a horizontal line, which one's a vertical line. So go through that. And 41, these are a little bit different. They want you to find the slope between 2 points, but instead of giving you 2 complete points, they give you the variable and they say that their slope is 15. So on this one, I will work it out and you can do 42. So when you're given 2 points and you're asking for a slope, you want to use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so in this case, my y2 is g, and my y1 is 7. So I'm going to have g minus 7 in the top. On the bottom, I'm going to have my x's, so I have 3 minus 2, and that is going to be equal to the slope, which they gave me as 15. Okay, from here, we have to work backwards. So we need to isolate the variable g. So I'm going to first start by simplifying the left side of my fraction. So I'm going to have g minus 7. 3 minus 2 is just 1. So I could even leave this as just g minus 7. So I have g minus 7 equal to 15. And then I'm going to add 7 to both sides to cancel out what's on the left. And then I will have g equal to 22, I believe. So that is how you work backwards to find out what that point should be. So right here, 2 comma 7, 3 comma 22 would be the point that would make a slope of 15. Okay, so go ahead and try 42. All right, once you have that, this is very simple. Tell me which one's slope, which one's y-intercept. Standard form, this was ax plus by equals c. And this one I will give it to you when you rearrange. Okay, so it's opposite a over b for the slope, and my y-intercept is c over b. So if you were to write standard form into slope-intercept form, you'd have y equals negative a over bx plus c over b. So my class, you should be pretty annoyed with that and have that down since we've worked with that for several weeks. Point slope form, we haven't done that in a little bit, but it's y minus y1, and that's equal to m times your x minus x1. And the point is going to just be the y1 and the x1. And notice here in the formula, you always have negative signs in front of your point. So that's always going to flip the numbers that you have. So if you have a negative x1, when you plug it into the formula, it'll end up being positive. Okay, and slope, same as in slope-intercept form, it's just the m. Okay, so just to recap, you should know what those letters mean by what I said. Finish 42 and give me 2 or 3 sentences for number 39 and 40. All right, looking on page 6, on number 43, you need to explain how to convert this into slope-intercept form. So don't just say you plug it into this formula. You are correct that you do use it, but I want to know what is A, what is B, what is C. So I want to know where the numbers go and how you know to use this formula. So explain step by step how to do this. Don't just say you use this formula. I'm not going to give you credit for it. For 44 through 46, you need to go and find the full equation for each of these. So just like we did with slope from a graph, you need to find two good points. So on 47, that looks like a good point. This one looks like a good point. So do rise over run. So I went up 1, 2, 3 squares and over 1. So my rise was 3 over 1. This is a positive line because it's going up and to the right, so this is good. So 3 over 1x. And then I need to find my y-intercept, and that point happens right here, which is -2. So I'm going to have 3x minus 2. And I'm going to simplify this fraction, so my final answer will be 3x minus 2. Okay, so do the same for all of those. 46, you just need to remember if this is y equals or x equals, because this is at either 0 or undefined slope. But you should be good to go there. 47, the same process applies. So you need to find two good points. Do the mx plus b. And then the only part you need to remember is if it's above or below and dotted or solid. So I'm going to write a key for you right here. Okay, so above and solid is going to be greater than or equal to. Above and dotted will simply just be greater than. Below and solid will be less than or equal to, and below and dotted will just be less than. So looking at just the sign here, I'm going to go to my y-intercept and say, okay, are my numbers shaded above or below that point? They're above, so this means I'm going to be in one of these two categories. Then I look at that line and I see that it's definitely solid, so I know that my inequality is going to begin with y greater than or equal to. Okay? So go ahead and do the inequality portion for the symbol here, and then write the equation just like you did for these top three. And last but not least, we are converting these inequalities to slope-intercept form. So again, we are going to be using the negative a over bx. Okay, so on this first one, my a is 2, so the opposite of positive 2 is negative 2. B is negative 5. And then we have x. My c is 18. So I'm going to have 18 over my b, which again was negative 5. Okay. The only thing that you have to remember is with inequalities, you have to know when to flip or keep this symbol. So remember, if your y is negative, so if your b is negative, that's when we flip this symbol. In this case, b is negative, so we should flip this. So it should be y less than, not greater than. Okay. From here, you would be able to graph stuff in your calculator and see which answer choices matches, Ooh, can't speak. But go ahead and simplify from here. So you have y less than, this becomes positive 2 over 5, x, and then this would just be negative 18 over 5. Okay, so simplify when you can, and then remember when to flip this inequality symbol.